Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Canal Algérie's nightly news for tonight. Here's what we have. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, extends his condolences to the victims of the road accident following the overturn of MC Bayed soccer team's bus in Tiert province. The Foreign Affairs Minister Ahmed Attaf summons the Malian ambassador to Algeria and recalls the unwavering positions of our country concerning the establishment of peace and stability in Mali. Independent justice and food security among the top priorities of the head of state to be highlighted in tonight's edition. The Algerian airlines company Air Algérie is once again operating in Lebanon and Syria to ensure the movement of people between the three capitals. Welcome back. First off, a presidential decree was published in the last issue of the official Gazette. Convening in its first article, the parliament its two chambers together on the 25th of December 2023, while the second article includes the agenda of the extraordinary session, starting with the opening of the session, and secondly, the speech of President of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. The third article states the session concludes as soon as the earlier agenda is over. Following the deadly accident that took place yesterday, 2 people died after MC Bayed's bus crashed at the level of Souguer in Tiert province while the team was heading to Tizi Ouzou to take on GS Kabylie. The President of the Republic extended condolences in a tweet which reads, "It is with great pain and sadness that I receive the news of the tragedy that befell the coaching staff and players of MC Bayed. In the face of this great casualty, I extend my sincere condolences and sympathy to the families of the victims, as well as my wishes for a swift recovery for the injured. I also offer my condolences to the fans of the team. Indeed, to Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return," concluded the President of the Republic. In the same context, and following this deadly accident, the Algerian football governing body, FAF, decided to suspend all the football activities slated for this weekend throughout the national territory. For his part, the General Prosecutor of Souguer headed to the venue of the accident and issued the instruction to lead an investigation to shed light on the circumstances of this tragedy. In other developments, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, summoned today the Ambassador of the Republic of Mali to Algeria, Mahaman Amadou Maïga, regarding the recent developments in that country. In this context, the Minister strongly recalled that all of Algeria's historic contributions to the consolidation of peace, security, and stability in the Republic of Mali always have been based on 3 fundamental principles from which our country has not and will not deviate. First and foremost, Algeria firmly upholds the sovereignty of the Republic of Mali, its national unity, and its territorial integrity. Secondly, the deep conviction that peaceful means alone can guarantee peace, security, stability in the Republic of Mali in a stable, lasting, and sustainable manner. Third of all, and as a result of the first 2 principles, national reconciliation rather than the repeated divisions between the brothers remains the best solution to enable the state of Mali to engage in a comprehensive and exclusive process for all of its components without any discrimination, preference, or exclusion, which is a process that ultimately guarantees the consolidation of the sovereignty, national unity, and territorial integrity of the Republic of Mali. In addition to this reminder, reference was made to the statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on December 13, 2023, in which Algeria called on all Malian parties to reiterate their commitment to the implementation of the Peace and Reconciliation Agreement emanating from the Algiers process in response to the legitimate aspirations of all components of the brotherly Malian people to consolidate peace and stability in a lasting and sustainable manner. It was also assured to the Ambassador of the Republic of Mali that the recent meetings held with the leaders of the movement that signed the agreement of peace and reconciliation in Mali stemming from the Algiers process are fully in accordance with the statement. In this context, Minister Attaf expressed his hope that the Malian government, which has renewed its commitment to the implementation of the agreement, will join Algeria's current efforts to give new impetus to this process. In conclusion, Ahmed Attaf stressed that the intensive and long-standing relations between Algeria and the Republic of Mali oblige it to do everything in its power to help this brotherly country on the path of peace and reconciliation, which remains the sole guarantor security, development, and prosperity. In this spirit and in the light of it, Algeria continues to envisage and assume its role as the chairman of the Commission to follow up the implementation of the Agreement on Peace and Reconciliation in Mali of the Algiers process and communique. The first Gazan wounded arrived to Algiers, namely two sisters, aged respectively 22 and 16, along with the first sister's baby. The two girls in serious health conditions will be admitted by the military hospital of Ain Naja. They arrived aboard a presidential aircraft fully endowed with medical equipment coming from the Egyptian airport of Al Arish. An independent justice was one of the president's high priorities. To this effect, he introduced a series of measures, including a new constitution, a constitutional court, and a higher council of magistrates. Here's Melissa Kebash.
Among the President of the Republic's priorities upon his election was restoring the credibility of the judicial system so as to establish the rule of law. We might even say that President Tebboune declared war against all forms of corruption while ensuring the recovery of embezzled funds inside and outside the country.
ضبابية وتستنى يمليها من أمور ترجع كما كانت ويعاود يعدوا فيها فساد وكذا وهذه هم غالطين. حسابات هذه ما تاكلش بالإرادة ولا بالقوة.
Through the 2022 Constitution, the head of state worked to rescue the independence of the judicial sector by establishing the High Council of Magistrates.
The Algerian Constitution ensures the protection of the judge from any pressure. It also provides a legal framework for the complainant.
The Constitutional Court was created to preserve the constitutionality and conformity of the law with a fundamental text.
This initiative comforts citizens that the court is endowed with the necessary mechanisms to reach its objectives, namely the establishment of a state based on justice and legality.
The sector witnessed a real development as it's moving towards digitization to simplify and accelerate the procedures.
As you can see, the counter is empty, telling evidence of the facilitations granted to modernize the sector.
An electronic platform was also launched, allowing citizens to file their complaints and receive answers within a short period of time.
All the citizen has to do is to file the required data in the electronic platform that transmit it to the concerned service. His demand then will be treated in a record time.
The border regions were also included in these reforms as mobile courts were mobilized at their level.
This is a great decision taken by the President of the Republic.
The in-depth reforms initiated by the President of the Republic opened new horizons for the judicial sector and established a judicial independence that will serve the Algerian citizen and reinforce the judicial mechanisms.
The President of the Republic also honored his commitment to ensuring food security for the Algerian people through several measures and guidelines implemented for the benefit for boosting and improving the agricultural sector. More details with Melissa Kebash.
The agricultural sector faced harsh climate during the last couple of years, conditions never encountered before. Despite these changes, the sector provided 75% of goods and registered an increase of nearly 15%, by this claiming the second position after hydrocarbons. These positive indicators are the outcome of many political and economic decisions taken by the President of the Republic, meant to support the national agricultural production and reinforce the country's food security. The National Foundation of Farmers revealed in February 2023 the increase in interest and the implementation of the President of the Republic's 18th commitment.
القمح ما معاش نلعب لنا القمح هو اليوم هي النعمة الأصلية نتاع المواطن البسيط وهي ما بين الركائز الأساسية والقوية لاستقلالية الوطن.
In May 2020, the head of state accelerated the creation of the National Council of Saharan Agriculture and reinforced its crucial role in the promotion of agricultural investment in the South and High Plateau, as 3 large operations were carried out, granting thousands of hectares to investors in the southern provinces, and by this responding to the economic and financial needs of the country. To consolidate this move, the president issued a series of guidelines to speed up the linking of the sector to electrical grid while reinforcing the follow-up and support mechanisms.
All these decisions encouraged us a lot. Our president is aware of the challenges facing us and succeeded in dealing with the situation. The fertilizer subsidies that were at 20% increased to 50%. Same thing for irrigation equipment. Instructions were also given to local managers to facilitate granting of well drilling authorization.
The modernization of this vital sector beef ups for the first time the creation of a bank dedicated for seeds aimed at controlling the production and reduces the import bill. President Tebboune supported all these initiatives through a series of decisions as he launched the rehabilitation works of a green dam that will cover more than 3 million hectares. Important decisions that will boost this field and enhance food security and national sovereignty.
In other news, the implementation of the instructions of the President of the Republic in regard to transport of citizens from and to Algeria by reactivating flights to Lebanon and Syria, the national airline company Air Algérie resumed flights to the Lebanese capital, Beirut, after being suspended as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Flights also resumed towards the Syrian capital, Damascus, after a 10-year suspension. 1 flight per week will be devoted to each destination. In other developments, and in order to improve the level of health services provided for the inhabitants of the province of Wourgla, Sonatrach Group signed alongside the Ministry of Health a funding agreement for the project of the rehabilitation of the department of the State Hospital Mohammed Boudiaf with medical equipment and burn equipment. As for the developments in Gaza, the death toll exceeded a staggering 20,000 martyrs as of now, while over 52,000 people are wounded as the attacks persist. On the other hand, the UNICEF sounds the alarm on the situation of children there. Let's watch this report for more details. Palestinians know no peace as the Zionist occupation persists with its barbarism, conducting new attacks against the Gaza Strip, bombing residential compounds, hospitals, schools, and any civil infrastructure sheltering displaced people. Yesterday evening, at least 55 Palestinians fell martyrs and many were wounded during raids by the Zionist occupation on houses and zones sheltering displaced people near the European hospital of Khan Yunis in the south of Gaza Strip. The occupation's artillery has also bombed the eastern zones of Khan Yunis, as well as zones of the center of Gaza Strip. In the north of Gaza Strip, the occupation's air forces fired internationally banned phosphorus bombs on the zone of Al-Jabaliya's market and its surroundings. The head of the UN's Children's Fund warned that the children of Gaza barely have a drop of drinking water, stressing that children and their families had no other choice but to use water emanating from dangerous sources, heavily salted or polluted. Without clean water, many children will die in the upcoming days as a result of illnesses. On the other hand, the UN Security Council postponed for the 3rd consecutive day the meeting met to adopt a new resolution for a ceasefire. The death toll in Gaza since the beginning of the Zionist aggression on October 7th reached 20,000, including 8,000 children and 6,200 women, a list expected to rise as the wounded toll reached 52,000. End of the bulletin. Thank you to our technicians and journalists. Enjoy your weekend.